What's up, everybody? I'm Stan, and welcome to Detail Comics, where we go over comics in detail. This is iRate Reviews, the show where I go over a comic book, its art, its story, give you my ideas, and let you know whether it's something to go back and pick up or not. What I'm going to be doing is talking about Doctor Aphra #1. So this oversized #1 issue is about Doctor Aphra, a character that came from the Star Wars and Vader Down series, and this is written by Gillan, who does a whole bunch of different stuff in comic books, but this is really a surprise for me because I have zero exposure to the recent Star Wars universe. I picked up Han Solo #1, it was just like, okay, that wasn't really for me, and I haven't been reading Darth Vader, I haven't been reading Star Wars, but this is a great jumping on point for me, especially with this character. So let's hop into the story. So where we open up is very reminiscent of, say, like Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark. You know, you've got this person in here, they're kind of trying to collect this artifact, and ultimately it's got its own defense mechanism. So who is this person that is trying to collect this artifact, and are they going to make it out alive? There's this little chase scene through a cave, and it's really cool, and what they do is they burst out into this open field, and I was just like, yep, that's totally a boulder rolling towards the entrance of a temple scene, and who is there? It's just like, is this supposed to be Dr. Aphra? And all of a sudden some dude pulls off his helmet, and you're like, where the hell is the person that I'm supposed to be reading about? And all of a sudden, pew, blaster through the chest. That's the main character. So the main character wasn't the person actually getting the artifact, it was the person stealing the artifact by shooting the other guy in the chest, which was really funny. Then we get to basically see a C-3PO and R2-D2 kind of clone copy set of droids, as well as the new ship that Dr. Aphra is going to be wielding. And there's obviously some sort of underground mob boss kind of element that's helping finance these expeditions because he's come to collect. Obviously, she doesn't have the money because she hasn't had a chance to sell the artifact yet, and that results in some very serious bodily threats going Dr. Aphra's way. But lucky for her, she actually owes more money to the Wookiee that's inside the actual spaceship itself. So it comes out, and all of a sudden it's just like this badass-looking Chewbacca mofo is just like, all right, cool, what's going on out here? Let me just tell you exactly what a bowcaster can do to you, and where I'm going to be picking up the parts and pieces if I do shoot you with that. So Dr. Aphra makes a bet, it's like double or nothing, that my Wookiee can whoop on your two guys, and the Wookiee just wrecks house, and it's just super fun. So they take off, they go towards this intergalactic auction house, because she's a doctor, she's a certified archaeologist. Of course she's going to be able to sell this thing. Nope, no go, because evidently somebody has found out that maybe her credentials are less than worthy. It's just one of those things where maybe she's not above board like she should be. And who does it turn out to be? Her dad. So this was a really cool story, and I mean, it was just really fun. It was a great introduction. It didn't rely very heavily on the actual Star Wars mythos itself, which is really a great selling point for a first issue. If you don't have to rely on a lot of backstory and getting a lot more information from, say, like a lot of exposition, it's just super awesome. I'm really glad everything started off this way. And for people that wanted a little bit more backstory on Aphra herself and how she got to be an archaeologist, there was a backup story that was in the back that was also written. It was about 10 or 11 pages, and that was basically her trials and tribulations as she goes through her graduate degree. And she is like the worst advisor in the world, and he's doing all kinds of illegal shady shit, and she totally doesn't pay attention, and it sounds just like when I was in college, and there was grad schoolers around there as well. So it was just really fun to kind of pick on that stuff and really pick up where Aphra was coming from. Because I had zero investment in this character at all. As far as the art goes, I found it to be a really complimentary piece. It wasn't overly sophisticated or overly detailed, but it provided more than enough in order to kind of create that world that I'm very familiar with inside the Star Wars movie universe, but inside the actual comic books themselves. It didn't feel overly stylized, it didn't feel far too detailed, a portrayal like it was trying to replicate the movie. It was definitely its own voice and its own unique feel and tone, but it really captured the essence of what the Star Wars universe was all about. So as far as Dr. Aphra is concerned as a character, she looks like she's going to be a whole lot of fun and going to kind of go on those, space female Indiana Jonesy type adventures. She's going to go searching for artifacts, run afoul of the local law enforcement or the local, non-law enforcement, the regular mob kind of guys, the mafiosos of space, and go on this kind of adventure. And when you hear that she's got a little bit of history with Darth Vader, well, that just means that they can tie into that if they need to. But if they don't need to, they can just explore, and they can kind of go to all these different worlds and all these different creatures and find out about all this different lore and really expand on the Star Wars universe without having to rely on the actual canon itself. So this is a really great jumping on point for anybody that hasn't really seen or been a part of Star Wars previously. It's just a really good introductory tale that doesn't rely too heavily on other things. The biggest thing would probably be knowing what a Wookiee is and knowing what the droids are capable of and seeing those kind of things, because these droids are definitely not your average everyday droids. They might be a little bit more on the dark side. I don't necessarily know, but it's super cool. I definitely recommend you guys go grab Doctor Aphra if you hadn't had a chance, especially if you have any kind of curiosity about Star Wars or the character itself. So that's my review of Doctor Aphra #1, but I want to know what you guys think, so hit me up in the comments down below and we can start that conversation. As always, if you like what you see, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe right there to get more news, reviews, and commentary on comic books, comic book movies, comic book TV shows and games, and anything and everything inside the world of comics.